Hello everyone. Well, a little bit different. Something a little different. This is Last Man Standing. Um, this is a story about you and your brother deployed to Raccoon City in 1998. Missions withheld. You're given a search and rescue, find survivors of the viral contagion, and the spread and await evacuation. If only we had known before that it was a suicide mission. It takes place during Resident Evil 3 and 2. Which I've recorded 3. Go check that out on the main channel. I have played 2 but not recorded it, which was a mistake from me. I won't lie to you. There's only one chapter of this though. The last one came out July 21st. So that was, as of the time of recording this, was like 5 months ago. So, something like that. No, 6 months ago. No, wrong direction. 4 months ago. So I don't really expect anything. This is still sounding interesting. So let's do it. September 26th, 1998, Raccoon City Center. 2,100 hours, so 9 o'clock. You grunted with the effort it took to drag your unconscious colleague to safety, away from all the chaos and mayhem, and to a more secure area. Your hands were looped through his underarms, huffing out as the dead weight was beginning to make your arms burn. The non-stop onslaught of rain didn't help matters, forcing you to adjust your hold on the man several times he wouldn't slip out of your grasp. Despite everything, you couldn't bring yourself to leave him behind, even if the chances of you two surviving the night were slim to none. The entire city had gone to shit, and you were doubted. It's like time that I start recording. It's like my voice just goes to shit. I just can't properly read a sentence. Monsters would be a better term to describe them. You could think of one other term, but you refused to, as if acknowledging it would make the situation that more horrifying than it already was. You had no idea. I'm assuming it's talking about zombies. You had no idea how bad the city truly was. None of them did, but until they were deployed into the damn thick of it. I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. Sorry, that's a meme as of the time I'm recording this. Forced to do everything they could just to stay the hell alive. The horrors you had seen in just a short amount of time would stick with you forever, like it had been seared into your very being. Jesus. 1 minute, your squad is marching into the city in the hopes of helping people evacuate, and the next, everyone is separated and fighting for their life. You cast a quick glance over your shoulder, taking note of the current surroundings behind you. It was a bad idea to stay out in the open like this for long. You needed to find somewhere to hide and lay low for a while. Being out like this left you vulnerable and defenseless if those monsters sniffed you out. 1 you could handle solo. 2 even. 3 would be a bit of a challenge with your buddy hanging limply in your arms. Anything more than that, you were a goner, and you were rather fond of staying alive. You were sure the man with you would agree. Yes, coming to flesh-eating people was a fate you would much rather hope to avoid at all costs. Not far from them, you noted a dark alleyway leading to some kind of garage or storage unit hidden away in the corner, and immediately shifted yourself in its direction. It wouldn't be ideal to hide out here for an extended period, but it would make do enough for them to catch your breath, count their supplies, and work out some kind of plan. They needed to regroup the others. Your brother, the first person that flashed in your mind. He had been deployed along with yourself and many other members of the UBCS into this horrid city. You weren't one for prayer, but you prayed that he was alive and kicking somewhere safe. You tried not to jostle around the man in your arms too much as he shifted directions and picked up your pace, making a beeline to shelter. Upon getting closer, you pleased to notice that the roller door to the garage was already half open and thanked your lucky stars that it wasn't padlocked shut. There's no way of telling if there was anything unsavory lurking inside, but you weren't currently afforded the luxury of scoping it out first. I'm just fucking stuttering. Oops. You could hear the moans and screeches of things slowly getting closer as it sent your heart pounding hard in your chest. Laying your comrade flat on his back on the ground, you ducked underneath the gap before grabbing the man's arms and dragging him inside with you, making sure he was propped up and stable against the brick of the wall. You couldn't help stop the grimace at seeing the trail of blood he left behind, quickly yanking down the roller door shut. There was no way to lock it, but you hoped that those cannibals lacked the cohesive thought and brain power to even think about lifting the door to get to them. Only once the door was shut did you finally have the chance to take a breather. You could feel the heat of adrenaline start to slowly fade. What the actual fuck, you cursed. You tried to stop yourself from doubling over, bile rising at the back of your throat, the screams and shouts of your team echoing in your ears, and images of them being torn and attacked playing on a loop. At the forefront of your mind was your brother Carlos. You were both in the same squad at the time of deployment. You had been wary about his assignment from the get-go. My brother had less than forthcoming with information when the UBCS had been put on standby just days prior, only to have your contract thrown back in your face by your superiors when you had questioned them. You knew what you were signing up to when you agreed to work for Umbrella, they had told you. You could read between the lines, though, knowing what they really meant to say was, know your place and do not question command. groan of the injured mercenary caught your attention. You rushed to his side. You needed to focus. Now was not the time to get lost in your head. It wasn't a luxury you could afford right now. Aaron, can you hear me? You asked as the mercenary came to, giving the side of his face a few taps to rouse him. His head struggled to stay upright as he groaned again. Your eyes dragged down to the open wound between his neck and shoulder, a sizable chunk having been bitten during the skirmish. Loud and clear, Aaron hissed, his hand raised to touch his wound, and he cursed, "Fuck!" You were worried. Part of you had a feeling what it meant when one of those things sunk its teeth into you, but the other half refused to believe it. Aaron didn't look like he was about to turn into one of them, but you knew it was probably a matter of time before the infection spread to the rest of his body, either killing him or turning him. One hand placed against his forehead, he frowned at how hot he felt, even though the fabric of your combat gloves. That wasn't a good sign. Listen, I need to dress your wound. It's going to hurt like a bitch, but I need you to try and stay quiet while I clean it. You were already reaching into your supply pack when Aaron's hand had reached out to grab your own, halting your movements. You looked down at him, brows pinched in confusion. Don't waste your shit on me, Elvira. Not when you may need it for yourself, he managed to splutter, his statement ending in a string of harsh and wet coughs, blood dripping from his mouth. He scoffed and shrugged off his hold, but made no move to continue what he had planned. You knew he had a point, that he was right, and it made you angry. That wasn't how things were supposed to go. Sweat was beating against Aaron's forehead now, his skin clammy and hot. The infection had taken root, and he knew he was a lost cause. He wasn't going to bring you down with him. You weren't going to die here. He would make sure of it. You need to go, he coughed, heaving himself up against the wall a little more. His head felt heavy on his shoulders, the wound on his neck making it difficult to really move. It's too late for me, he whispered. You shook your head, eyes wide at his words. You didn't know what you felt more, the anger of him just giving up or the fear of losing him and being alone. I just dragged your ass all this way, and now you want me to leave you behind? Your frustrations are clear, not being able to stop it. It was seeping out the cracks. Yes. Well, tough shit. I'll drag you again if I have to. Your eyes narrowed at him, anger and frustration getting the better of you. It was all or nothing. Even if there was a slight chance you would take it. You weren't losing anyone else tonight. You started to pace back and forth, hands running through your hair and gripping at your roots. There had to be something you could do. You and I both know how this will end. He ignored his words. You didn't like the defeat in his voice, the finality of it. You knew the logical course of action here, but you stupidly hoped otherwise. Yet, with us regrouping with the others and getting the hell out of here, you snapped, still refusing to face him as your pacing continued. Aaron scoffed. Don't be so naive, girl. It's unbecoming for someone of your profession. You paused mid-step to glare down hard at him, lips curled into a snarl. His words struck a nerve with you. The anger from early returning. Fuck you, Calder. Another coughing fit seized him, and he doubled over, more blood rising in the back of his throat as he gagged it up. Your anger simmered down, and you made a move to help him up when he stopped in your tracks, eyes wide, as Aaron pulled out his handgun from his hip holster and shot at the ground before you. Aaron, what? Get your ass out of here, Oliveira. That's an order. His arm wavered in the air, his strength almost leaving him, but he refused to drop it. He wasn't going to shoot you, but he wanted to know he was serious. This was the end of the road for him, and he would be dead weight if he went along with you. Take my ammo and go. You stood still, eyes searching his face. He really didn't look good. You could see the infection spreading from his wound to the side of his face. It wouldn't be long now before he finally turned, so you steeled yourself, pushing away your sentimentality and locking it away. You need to focus on finding the others and continuing with the mission you were given, no matter what. Give him a curt nod, and he lowered his gun, letting it clatter to the ground beside him. You approached him, slowly, cautiously, and took whatever ammo and first aid he had left. Your lips were drawn tight, picking up Aaron's handgun as he stood to your feet. You stood to your feet. It felt heavy in your hand as you debated your next actions. Aaron seemed to sense your thoughts and what you were about to do and closed his eyes. It was a better ending than turning into one of those monsters. Do it, he said through gritted teeth. He hesitated for only a second before raising the gun, finger hovering over the trigger. Inhale, exhale, bang! The wet sound of blood splattering against the wall echoed in your ears as the bullet pierced him through the forehead and he slumped forward, unmoving. Your arm fell back by your side, gun still gripped tight. You couldn't let this get to you. You had to press on. You had a job to do. That's where the story ends. This isn't how. I'm gonna message the creator. I'm gonna message the creator and ask for some more. So far, the writing style I fuck with. There's not enough content for me to say whether it's a good story or not, but it is well written. So like I said, I will message the creator for hopefully chapter 2. And, well, see ya.